Here on the channel, we've talked about how to store ammo for the long term, and we've talked about mistakes to avoid when stockpiling that ammo for whatever emergency scenario you can foresee happening in the future. However, what would be the best way to store ammo for SHTF? What's the absolute best way to store it so that it's easily accessible, immediately able to be used, and still maintains a level of mobility? Well, the answer to that question is actually right here on the workbench. These are MTM Tactical Mag Cans, and they allow you to store your ammunition loaded in magazines in an organized way that still maintains a lightweight form and function. So, is this the best way to store ammo for SHTF? I actually think so. However, it does take up a lot more space and it is a little bit more expensive. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to break open both of these cans. I'm going to talk about what's inside, how many magazines, what types, how much ammo. And we're going to talk about the overall cost of the entire package so that you have an idea as to whether or not this is a good way for you to move forward in your ammo stockpile. And if you're worried about stockpiling ammo for SHTF scenarios, then hit the subscribe button below because those are the things we talk about here on this channel. And I also need to mention that the channel's biggest sponsor is Midway USA. And everything discussed in this video can be had from Midway USA. So a big thank you to them for helping make projects like this one possible and allow me to give the preparedness community a little bit more information and some more ideas about how to accomplish some of these tasks. So let's get into the ammo cans. We're going to open them up and I'm going to talk about everything inside, and then we'll wrap everything up with my thoughts and the total cost of everything and as to whether or not this is a good idea for you when it comes to your ammo storage. So the first can we're going to open up is the Tactical Mag Can that holds 15 30-round AR-15 mags. Because this is probably the one I would shoot for if I was only going to get one of these for right now. Because honestly, rifle mags are generally going to be more important if you actually need this kind of stuff, right? So this is $25.99. So 26 bucks gets you the can, and it's very durable. It's got a nice, comfortable handle. It's very lightweight, even fully loaded in the sense that I can easily move it around. And then it does have a few spots here on the side or in the front, whatever you want to call it, where you can put padlocks if you want to lock it up. And then we have the double latch system here, and we'll go ahead and open it up. And right here on the lid, you can actually see there's an O-ring seal all the way around it. So it is protected from the elements, which is why I'm not necessarily using the dust covers here on these P-mags, which are optional. Don't fall for the lie that they're required to keep the feed lips from cracking or something like that. They're literally just to keep the ammo from interacting with the environment. Either way, this is a pretty solid setup. Right here we've got the mags, and you can see we're using Magpul P-Mags, Gen M3s, but we'll go ahead and pull some of these out so you can kind of see how this whole grid situation works in here. And so there's a spot for each magazine, and they fit really snug in there. Even the normal base plates here for the Magpuls fit no problem. But this isn't going to work with like Ranger base plates or anything like that. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at all this. Standard size 30-round mags is all this is trying to accommodate, okay? Now, we already know that the can itself is $26. I chose Magpul P-Mags Gen M3s because they've been super reliable. I have no complaints about them at all. And they're basically the cheapest magazine I feel comfortable relying on, okay? So how many did I need for this project? Well, for this can, I needed 15, and for the other can, which we'll talk about here in a second, I needed 10. So in total, I needed 25 30-round Gen M3 P-Mags, which cost $355. So just keep that in mind. We're going to add all this up and I'll tell you the total cost here at the end, but that is how much it costs. Now, what's inside the P-Mags? Well, I'm running M193 in every single one of these magazines, okay? This is kind of built around the idea of my general purpose rifle, which right now is built around M193, especially because it has a M193 reticle on the ACOG that I'm using on it. So there's a lot of reasons for that, but M193 is decent stuff. And 38 boxes of it was required for this project to get 760 rounds of M193. And I chose Winchester White Box because it's inexpensive, yet still good to go when it comes to M193, at least in my opinion. And that cost, in order to get 38 boxes, $524 for the whole project, not just for this can, but for the other can as well. So we're already stacking up the dollars here, but this is how this can is set up. I really like it. I think that it is nice and organized. It doesn't allow the mags to shake or rattle or anything like that. So really impressed with the way the foam is laid out and just how well it keeps everything upright and fits really nice. And I don't know, nothing really bad to say about it. So let's move on to the other can, the multi-mag can. So we can talk about the pistol rounds as well. And then I'll give you the overview of how much it all cost and my parting thoughts on everything. So this is the Tactical Multi-Mag Can. This is the hybrid can that gets you 10 double-stack pistol mags and 10 30-round AR-15 mags in 5.56. So this can, same exact construction and everything as the other one. It's durable, it's got the same handle, the same two-latch system, the same spots to put padlocks if you want to lock it up, and it has the same O-ring seal on the lid. So really, it's the same exact can, except for it has a different grid pattern here in the foam, and it's a different color. And it is a couple bucks more. It's $28, so it is a couple dollars more, but I think that's because it requires more cuts in the foam to accommodate the pistol mags and the rifle mags together. Either way, what we have here is 10 30-round 5.56 mags, and obviously sticking to the same pattern as before. Like I said, these are Magpul PMag Gen M3s loaded with the M193, but we also have the pistol mag. So 10 double stack pistol mags. These are Glock 17 9mm mags, and you can choose whatever flavor you want, but this is the route I was taking when it came to SHTF. Seems reasonable. P mags loaded with M193 and Glock mags loaded with 9mm. I don't know, you tell me, but Glock mags are a little more expensive, and when it came to pistol mags, I decided to stick with factory OEM Glock mags. And why did I do that? Well, it was very tempting to buy Magpul PMag Glock 17 mags or ETS mags or anything else like that, but reliability is king when we're talking SHTF. And when it comes to pistol mags, factory OEM mags tend to just be more reliable. So I didn't want to, skimp out and buy some of the cheaper offerings that were out there and then possibly encounter reliability issues. I just went ahead and spent the extra money and got factory Glock mags. Okay, so how much did those cost? Well, 10 Gen 5 Glock 17 mags ran me $300, or $30 a piece. So that's not cheap. You could have done mag pulls for probably, I don't know, 170 bucks, but look, man, Glock mags work, they're reliable, and I don't want to really play around with that if we're talking SHTF. So yes, I went ahead and bought 10 factory Glock mags for this project. Now, what's in the Glock mags? Okay, well, 9mm, 124 grain cellular embedded. Okay, this is basically NATO. Now, it's not labeled NATO, but they advertise these running at 1,170 feet per second in velocity. And to my knowledge, the labeled NATO 9mm 124 grains projectiles are running at about 1,200 feet per second. So it's right about there, but a lot more affordable. I had to buy 4 boxes of this to get 200 rounds of ammo because with 10 17-round mags right here, you have 170 rounds, and that total cost was $74. So that's really not bad at all considering everything else that's going on right now. And the NATO stuff was more expensive, and yet this is basically the same thing. Now, you could really spend a lot more if you wanted to load up some plus P hollow points and go overboard, but if I'm breaking into this stash and I need more 9mm than what I already had on my loadout or on my person, well, I'm not going to be too worried about the fact that I'm running what NATO thinks works just fine in most 9mm pistols. So that's the route I took in order to save some money and still have something decently effective. And that's exactly what's in this multi-mag hybrid can. Because honestly, the other can's probably more important, but then being able to add 10 more rifle mags to the entire package and have access to additional pistol mags, I felt was worth it. So let's talk about everything combined and how much all of it cost, and then I'll just give you some thoughts about why I think this whole situation is a good idea for ammo storage. All right, now that you've had a chance to see everything inside of the MTM Tactical Mag Cans, let's talk about overall cost of this package. And when I say that, what I mean is the magazines, the ammunition, and the cans themselves. Everything you see right here was $1,307. That is not inexpensive. However, I do think it's the best way to store ammo for SHTF. You have ammo that's immediately accessible, able to be used immediately, and it stays very well organized, protected from the elements, and maintains a lightweight factor that allows you to pick it up and take it with you. And if you have to evacuate or bug out and you need to take ammo with you, having it loaded in mags is probably a good way to go. Because if you have to open those ammo cans while you're evacuated, you probably need to use the ammo that's in there, and the best way to do that is in magazines. So this is probably the best way to store ammo for SHTF, full-blown SHTF. Now, is all of my ammo stored this way? Of course not. That'd be very expensive and it would take up a lot of space. So my thought on this whole situation is that I would strive to at least just have this exact package. One of the tactical mag cans specifically for 30-round AR-15 magazines, and then one of the multi-mag hybrid cans that gets you 10 more AR-15 30-round magazines, and 10 double-stack pistol mags. And of course, this one gives you 15 30-round AR-15 mags. And by having both of these, if you were to take both of these with you, or even just have them to, I don't know, load up a teammate or whatever else it is, you've got your rifle covered, you've got your pistol covered in lesser of a ratio, which makes a lot of sense, and it can all be taken with you or whatever you got to do with it. So having these two cans fully loaded, probably a good goal to set, and then that might be all you need to do. I don't think you should have 10 of each of these ready to go, but if you want that, go for it. But really, these two is kind of that magic number that I think works out really well. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Is this a reasonable approach? Do you think just having these two cans is probably the right way to go? Do you think you would have more? Do you think you would just ignore it completely and just keep doing what you're usually doing? This is just my opinion, but when it comes to the idea of ammunition and SHTF and bringing it with you or having it ready to go and needing it, well, having it loaded in mags, having it organized and lightweight enough to take with you makes a lot of sense to me. So, whatever you think about it, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'm here to learn just as much as you are. And if you have anything else for me at all, go to magicprepper.com. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.